question and I'm going to drop it into Virgil in that particular conversation about the New Hampshire state motto just to see what it says. So let's slide this a little bit out of the way here. So literally, here's your question. Let's see what it does. I'm going to suspect morire or ignore. I mean, it will probably give some feedback on that. Okay, and it does. This is good. All right, so certainly could modify the phrase for the sake of alliteration. However, it's important to note a few things. All right, vivere is an infinitive meaning to live. All right. So for those that don't know, infinitives are really verbal nouns, right? We think of them as too blank because English does it that way, but really it's a noun concept. It's an idea. So, for example, living, right, is one way to express that. So it could work if you think of it that way. Living, libere freely, is the adverb. So it says that that's cool. So far we could work with that. But here's the trick, and this is what I was wondering if you would catch. Morire is in a classical Latin form. The correct infinitive form for to die is mori. Now, that's because this is what you call a deponent verb, which when you get in Latin verbs, there are verbs that are active and verbs that are passive voice, and typically they're infinitive forms. So those verbal noun forms have an re on the end. So ambulare, videre, ere, audire, to hear, ire, right? That's typically what you see at the end of infinitive forms. But there's a passive form too. For example, to be heard would be videri, eri, and then what are called third conjugation verbs like ponere, to put down. It's an ere. Now, if you want to make it passive, to be placed, right? That would be poni, poni, right? I know it's a big kind of conversation, but anyway, just suffice to say that deponent verbs look passive but are active in meaning. So mori, right? To die, because the subject is doing it for their own benefit, right? They're not dying something else that'd be active, but they themselves are dying. That's why it's got that passive component, which, side note, I think actually is the Greek verbs have what are called middle voice. They have active, passive, and middle. I think the deponent verb is Latin's answer to the middle voice, but I digress. So anyway, Virgil caught that. And so it's the long answer here. So morire doesn't exist, right? So you're looking to maintain a sense of classical accuracy and incorporating alliteration. You could consider something like vivere libere aut mori, right? And so it doesn't explain why morire doesn't exist. Let's prompt it. Why does morire not exist as a form in Latin? Let's be more specific here. With AI, the better your input, the better your output. So sometimes people won't put any good input and they'll just go, well, the AI is stupid. It's exactly. It could be your prompt. Anyway, because it follows a different conjugation pattern. Latin verbs are classified in different conjugations based on, okay, so it's saying conjugation, but here we go. Is a deponent verb belonging to the third conjugation. That's all accurate. Has its own set of conjugation rules. This is true, right? So morior is the ego form. Ego morior, I am dying, right? Because notice the passivity to it. There's your infinitive, mori, right? And then mortus sum is a perfect form. And there's usually four principal parts for verbs, but the third principal part is missing because there's no active form for deponent verbs. It's a bit more complicated to explain this video, but point is that no, you can't say vivere libere aut morire, because the morire doesn't exist. Virgil caught that, explains it to you. If you ask a follow-up question, it'll explain to you if you're not quite satisfied with its initial explanation. This is amazing. That the AI can really help you enhance your understanding of Latin and do it 24/7 without relying on somebody else to ask. You can ask AI, And of course, if you can prompt it well enough, it's going to give you the straight juice that you need. So great question, Allison. This is really cool.